Hi, this is Keith Williams. Welcome to 5 Art World, where we're interested in helping you get the most music from the least gear. Today, we're looking at the new Nobels ODR-1 Mini Overdrive pedal. Up next. Before we get started, let me do the required "this is not a paid review" language. The pedals were not sent to me for free. I bought them all, and I am not affiliated with the company in any way. This is just my honest review. The Nobels ODR-1 is likely the best overdrive you've never played, but they seem to be a studio secret weapon that deserves a look. And a new mini pedal version of a classic always gets my attention. Nobels is a German company, but the first ODR-1s were built in Korea in 1991. They were then subsequently built by the same company in China. They've gone in and out of production, and the different versions and colors and graphics following along those changes in location and manufacturer. But the circuit has remained the same design throughout, including the new Mini. At first glance, this is a very straightforward overdrive. There's the drive and level controls we're used to, but instead of a knob labeled tone, we get one labeled spectrum. You have to wonder if this is an interesting translation problem from German or something, or is it maybe an early 90s marketing guy's idea? I don't know about you, but that doesn't mean much to me, musically speaking. So it seems that the spectrum knob is where most of the magic lies. So what does it do? Gleaned from my research and my direct experience, the spectrum knob dials in more low mids while it increases treble content. I tend to dial mine until the highs sound very much like they do without the pedal on, often somewhere between 2 and 4 o'clock, but that's just me with my rig. Never an expensive pedal, the full-size ODR's roadworthiness was a concern. Switches, jacks, and pots feel a little iffy. Still, you routinely see them on the pedalboard demos featured by players on the excellent True Tone Lounge episodes with Zach Childs. The pedals sometimes rehoused with new jacks, pots, and true bypass added. This new mini pedal might make the rehousing unnecessary. The new jacks are tighter, and just for my taste, I've always preferred this button switch to the Boss style of the full-size. The buffer in the full-size Nobels has always been criticized, but has now been addressed by this new Mini being true bypass. And finally, the pots might not feel as solid as those on my Amexar TC Electronics mini pedals, but those pedals also sell for 30% more than most Nobels pedals. The ODR-1, or just Nobels, has an incredible range of warm overdrive on tap that lets it go from a mild overdrive to a full stack rock tone. As one Telecaster forum member put it to me recently, that variety of tones is likely why it's so popular at studio players in Nashville and LA, where you need to be able to cover a lot of bases with not many drive pedals on your board. Another complaint is that they all sound different, and this is more or less true, and there's two reasons for this reputation. The first is historical. In the late 90s, when the first Silvercase pedals were built, there was a mistake in the assembly line, and the drive and volume pots were reversed. This was corrected, but it left a sense that some have a lot less gain in the marketplace, and that becomes part of the mythos of the ODR. The second reason that they, quote, all sound different comes down to something that is true of most of our mass-produced pedals. The tolerances of capacitors and resistors, including pots, which are variable resistors after all, is generally plus or minus 5%. So for example, a 250K drive pot might actually be as low as 237K, or as high as 262K. The first would make the pedal have much less gain, and the second way more gain, of course. So this is true. They are all a little bit different. But as this applies to all mass-produced pedals, so are all tube screamers, or blues drivers, or Zen drives for that matter. Because I'd had the full-size pedal, when the Mini came out, I ordered one right up. But because of all the questions about variation, I then ordered 2 more. I wanted to see if in my very small sample set, I'd hear or feel any variation in the way the pedals responded. And I did see a slight difference. But really, it was nothing I couldn't dial out by turning the knobs on the pedals. To me, the new Minis sound just like their big brothers. And yes, there does seem to be the slightest difference in the amount of bass. A little bit less, but many folks had complained in the past that there was too much bass in the original circuit anyway. Once I started turning the spectrum knob, the difference between the full size and the Mini were very hard to discern. And the Mini just sounds great to me. The original marketing of natural overdrive sounds right, and it makes sense that people fall back on that language to describe it. Or they'll say, it responds very much like an amp. And that is likely the highest praise we have for an overdrive pedal. The Nobels has long been mentioned as a golden OD for Telecasters, almost in the same breath with the boutique Crowther hotcake. It fattens up single coils, adding low-mid depths to the bell-like top end already there. And some say that it's too dark with humbuckers. But usually, when I've been showing the Nobels to a buddy the first time, their response is, it's kind of dumble-y, isn't it? Having never played an actual dumble, but having spent many hours listening to Ford, Carlton, and Lindley play theirs, I'd say yes, there is a certain amount of that chewiness here with buckers. My playing examples are one thing, but if you want to hear an example of a player using a Nobels to great effect, check out Guthrie Trapp's 2 excellent solo records, where he plays the pedal with his Fender amps, his Telecasters, and his Gibson 335. I'd say that probably the 2 Nashville session guys that have brought the Nobels back to the world's attention are Tom Bukovac and Guthrie Trapp. Those guys ought to be getting a piece of the action on this new surge of interest in the Nobels. For all these reasons, and likely the same reason that this pedal is on almost every session board you might see, I'll be adding a Nobels Mini to my modest pedal board. I'll be doing additional demos of the ODR Mini with my Vox AC10s and my FYD Amps Gibson GA40 clone in the future, but I've had a number of people asking me about this new drive pedal, so I wanted to get this first tasting out there. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for checking out my video on the new Nobels ODR-1 Mini Overdrive pedal. If you liked the video, hit the like button, and if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and hit that too. Until next time, thanks for being part of the 5 Watt world.